Today I thought it would be fun to paint some flowers for the hummingbird that I did a tutorial with a couple weeks ago. And so these are the flowers I chose to paint. And the colors I used, because this hummingbird was created with permanent rose and hooker green, I decided to use those so that it would look cohesive and unified. But I also added a little bit of ultramarine blue. And these are all Winsor Newton. This is the Cotman. So it's the student grade ultramarine. And it's not bad. I really like it. So if you're looking to get a little bit of a cheaper blue paint, I really like this ultramarine blue. The two brushes are this is a number 4 dagger striper, Princeton Umbria, it says. So it's just anything with a point will work. I used it for all the green. And then this one is it says Bemidja Artist Brush number 12. This comes in a pack of a bunch of different sizes of the round filbert brush. So it's really nice for making those petals. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I mixed up some of the permanent rose with a little bit of ultramarine blue, which makes a nice purple. And then I added some green to it just to calm it down and make it more of a dark burgundy light color. So let me show you that on here. So it sort of matches with a little bit with the hummingbird. Okay, so but before I put any color on, the first thing I'm going to do is to put a lot of water on this paper. So in the parts where I'm going to put flowers, I'm just going to dab some clear water up the stems. So this direction here, just some clear water. It's a little bit green here. I use this brush so I'm just kind of putting little blobs of color. Trying to get rid of that green off the brush. I'm putting blobs of color where I want the flowers to go. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my color. And I'm going to start at the top here. And I'm going to go next to those blobs that I put in already and put in some petals so that the color kind of spreads out into those light colors, those puddles of water. Okay, and then at the top, I'm going to make little buds up here. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to go to the next one here. Same thing. Cover up those splotches that are already on my paper. And at the top, just make little, I'm going to make them a little fatter on the bottom part. So make a flower here. And you can see how I made like a 4-petal flower there. You can do that. Come back in and do that. Okay, and then for this bottom one, some of this water is evaporating, so I'm just going to go ahead and go in and add a little bit of color or a little bit of water to the puddles that I already made. Okay, come back in with some color. Touch it to those puddles of water. Okay, I'm going to join up some of these stalks together. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to go in. I'm cleaning off my brush, wiping it on a paper towel, so I still have a little color on there. Okay, now getting it nice and wet, and I'm just going to add some blobs of water, some clear petals. Cleaning off my brush again, getting fresh water. I forgot to add, I'm going to add a few little buds at the top here. Okay. Still coming in and adding more clear petals, helping it run off the page a little bit. So I'm looking at my flowers, and the centers, I want them to be like a nice small circle. So sometimes I'm adding water into the centers of my flowers. I'm going to go down a little bit here with some more petals. I'm going to mix up a little bit more color. Add some color down here. Okay. All right. Now, as this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and go in with a pointed brush with some green, and I'm not going to use straight green. I'm going to use this Hooker's green and add some of this pink into it and a little bit of the ultramarine blue just to take the edge off of it. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. So it's a little darker. Let me just lighten it up a little bit. A little darker than the bird. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go in and add some stems to these. Like so. Just going in between the flowers and adding a little dab of green, especially up here where the buds are at the top. especially joining these up here. Okay, and then up here at the very top, just little dabs of green. Okay. This is a little too strong right here. A little too much of a line. So I'm just going to take my paper towel right here and get some of that out. Put a little dab of color right there. There. Okay. All right, so this is what we have. Okay, so I decided I'm gonna go back in here. It's almost dry, it's kind of satiny, and the parts that are still wet, I'm just gonna accentuate by adding some really dark color, like that, really quick here before it dries. So I'm gonna go into the centers of the flowers, not all of them, just a couple of them, and just dab in some color. Just delicately, just to accentuate the middles of the centers of some of the flowers, just to give it a little focus. It's a little wet still right here, right here. Okay, let's see. This is pretty much dry there, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, just to give it a little bit of extra color. Okay. All right, that's good. Okay, so let me just show you a little bit more close up here. This is the top.